What's going on, everybody, and welcome to J Sports Seattle. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Seahawks. Yes, I know, the Mariners, they have probably aged us all a good couple years. But you know what? Let's cheer ourselves up today with some good old Seahawks news. Because today was the first day of training camp, and you know what? I'm just going to hop right into it. So if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. Alrighty, so today was the first day of training camp, the first official day of training camp for Seattle, and I could not be any happier that we're right around the corner for football. I mean, the season is about a month, less than a month away, about 3 weeks away. So this is actually no, like maybe a month and a half away. Sorry, I'm thinking of preseason. About a month and a half away, and I couldn't be any happier to just keep inching forward to week one. So, but first off, let's start off with the bad before we get to the good. I haven't really talked about Abe Lucas much, and I want to just take a little bit of time to talk about him. He's been struggling. Mike has been saying it's been tough. He's saying it's been tough with Abe, and it's not really looking good. I said it's tough with Abe. The thing with Abe that's tough is the guy works incredibly hard. It's a process right now. I can't tell you. So apparently he's able to run full speed, which is, that's a good sign that he's pretty much back to. It's a good sign that he's pretty much back to being able to play. So, but my thing about Abe Lucas is if this continues to be an issue for him, if he has to have season-ending surgery after season-ending surgery because of this chronic knee issue, I would be surprised if John's like, all right, man, like it's not you, and it's not your fault. It's just you have a chronic knee issue, and that's out of your control. But we gotta let you go because just because we need someone who can play at right tackle. And like I said, and me personally, I would share that same thing. Like, it's not against Lucas. There's nothing wrong. It's nothing against him personally. It's just if you're not able to perform and play, well, we're gonna have to move on to someone else who can. So I'm really hoping that won't be the case, and I'm really hoping that this is the one surgery he'll need, and he'll be back to normal, and we'll be good to go. But so far, not really looking so hot. But I'm wishing the best for Abe, and I'm really hoping you can come back soon. So, I'm moving on to the rest of the video will be a little bit more positive, or a lot more positive. So let's move on with it. So first things first, if you guys haven't already heard, we reached an agreement to extend Julian Love for 3 years, worth up to $36 million. Huge signing by John Schneider in the front office, man. Like, I couldn't be any happier with this because Love balled out last year, and even under Pete's declining scheme, he still balled out and he still became a Pro Bowler. So I like that we were able to re-sign him, and I like that we have him during his prime. He's going to be in his prime. So I really like that we were going through that. We went through that and signed him, and you know what? It's like we could have re-signed him at any point in the offseason. We could have re-signed him during OTAs. We could have re-signed him at mandatory minicamp. But for some reason, we decided to re-sign him after the first day of training camp instead of those times. I wonder if Mike really was like, he really liked what he saw from Love during training camp. And he was like, you know what, John? I think we got to extend this guy because I think I can let him. I think I can let him cook. And John was probably like, yeah, you're right. He's good. He was a Pro Bowler last year. Let's do it. Because this was his contract year. So the fact that we're able to get this done before the season instead of having to wait until next offseason just shows how much it probably showed how much Love wanted to be here in Seattle, and also showed how much John and Mike wanted him in Seattle. So massive signing for us. Really happy that John was able to get that done. Just goes to show even more of how great of a GM he is. And I'm really happy that he was able to get that done. So, and it's great for Love too because he got the bag and he's staying where he wants to play. And so it's good for both sides. So really happy to see that. So, congrats, Love, and I'm glad you're staying with us in the long term. So, really good to see. Moving on to some more signings, although these are not as major. We have signed wide receiver Marcus Sims and an offensive lineman Jalen Sundell ahead of training camp. This was like a day ago, even though this says it was 8 hours ago. This happened like a day ago. But Marcus Sims, he was on the USFL or UFL's Michigan Panthers last year, and we signed him to be on special teams. And because we do need some special teams people, Jarek Reed might not be able to start right away. He's probably going to be a special teamer, but he's still there's a chance he may not be ready by week 1 because of his knee injury that he's still coming back from his torn ACL. DJ Dallas is no longer our return guy, so it's probably going to be in battle maybe in training camp of who's going to be returned. Maybe Tariq Young battles, and then this guy Marcus Sims. And then we signed Jalen Sundell, who's a rookie out of North Dakota State, to our team. And it's just more depth to have, and I really like that we were able to do that. And apparently he was ranked one of the higher offensive linemen coming out of college. He's like maybe in the 40s or 50s. So really good to see that. And there's just more depth that we can have. So really solid signings by Schneider, and just getting more depth and addressing some needs. So really good to see. But moving on, this is probably going to be the bulk of this video that I'm going to talk about, and that's the training camp takeaways on the first day. Getting close. Linebackers flashing debut. Let's just get right into it. Good. That's also more good news. Nehemiah Pritchett and GJ James, they were back in action today after they were on the NFI list. So definitely glad to see them back, because they're rookies and you want them to be incorporated into the defensive scheming as much as possible. So and then Baker and Dodson, they were hurt, but they were activated off the NFI list like a day ago or a couple of days ago, and it's good to see. Really good to see, because we need those guys. They're going to be our interior linebackers this year most likely. So really good to see. And apparently they have looked really, really good so far. Like obviously there aren't pads yet, but apparently they've both been looking spry and healthy, which is great to hear and great to see. Because we lost Bobby and Jordan, so we had to replace those guys, obviously. So these guys may be permanent. I don't know, or like I wouldn't say permanent, but long term. Like we could, if they do have good years this year, we could extend them. Which is glad that we signed both Baker and Dodson, because one of them both. I feel like either one of them are bound to go off, especially under Mike McDonald, who is a linebackers coach. So I feel like under McDonald, they'll be better. Apparently Baker did show a little bit of rust with a couple dropped passes, but then again, he's been injured. He hasn't caught balls in a while, so obviously that makes sense that he'd be a little rusty. I mean, if an expert pianist stopped playing piano for a year, he's not gonna. I mean, maybe he will, but 9 times out of 10, he's gonna be rusty trying to play Hungarian Rhapsody. So he'll get it back. But he's still showing athleticism and quickness, which is really good, and he's healthy. And same with Dodson, looked really sharp. Even though McDonald didn't really rave about anything specific about these guys, when he came to the podium, and I think when the press asked about them, he had a really big grin on the ear to ear at the podium after practice, just to see both of them on the field. And he said it was great. All the guys that came back, just to see the smile on their face. Those guys have been working really hard. It's great to see it start paying off for them. So this right here tells me that they're really, really off to a really good start. And Mike really likes what he sees. I mean, he had a big smile on his face. So that's really good to see and to hear from Mike. And I feel like these guys could definitely do some damage this year in the interior, in the MLB spot, I should say. Throwing tight spirals all over the field, Geno Smith picked up where he left off after a strong offseason performance. Great to hear. As McDonald acknowledged, the tempo and structure of the first handful of training camp practices mirror spring off-season practices prohibiting contact and playing football, obviously, putting the rules in favor of the offense. So obviously, yeah, the defense can't be as physical because it's no pad. So, but apparently Smith was slicing and dicing, even without the pads. Like pads or not. Apparently he was throwing dimes to Fant in the flats, and apparently Fant outran Reek Woolen. Outran Week Woolen. What? That guy ran a 4.26, and Noah Fant outran him. So either Reek Woolen really has taken a step back, or Noah Fant has really just gotten better, as a tight end. But like I said, it is no pads, so I guess you got to take this with a grain of salt. I'm sure Reek was not able to be physical at the line, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. But apparently Smith has been throwing dimes. Apparently he threw a dime to JSN on a deep out route. First off, a deep out route? You don't really ever hear of a deep out route. I feel like in Seattle, I feel like the things that I've seen is just run plays and quick slants and really not just slow developing plays that really just wouldn't come to fruition with Geno under center. But when you see stuff like deep out routes, because normally you see when you think of an out route, you think of a 6-7 yard run up the field, run towards the sideline to try to get some chunky yardage. But normally you don't really hear of deep out routes, I feel like. And those deep out routes are really good at finding holes in zone coverages. So I'm glad that Grubb is really incorporating that into the offense. Apparently he threw a dime back shoulder throw to Lockett for a 15-yard gain. Just demonstrating that he's really comfortable under the new offense. And that's what you want to hear from your quarterback, from your QB1. So as for Sam, so apparently he wasn't near as sharp as Smith, but he still was sharp. And he was showing signs as not being fully comfortable with running a new offense. And you know what? Before I move on to the throw, that's okay. He's 23 years old. This is his third year entering the league. He just got traded from another team to a new team. It makes sense that he's going to struggle a bit with adjusting to the new offense. Geno, on the other hand, he's a veteran. He's been in the league for 10 plus years. I think he's going on his 11th season. So of course it's going to be a little easier for him to adjust and ease himself into an offense because he knows what he's doing. He's been a starter for 2 years already, and he was a starter earlier on in his career. I mean, he's been sitting behind professional quarterbacks for most of his career learning. So it's okay and Sam, that's what Sam's here for. He's here to sit behind Geno and learn from him. Moving on, apparently he had arguably the best throw of the day. Apparently he threw a 40-yard dime downfield to the opposing sideline and dropped the ball right into the bucket for Tariq Young on a corner route. Great to see another corner route. So, that's a corner route, so I guess I wouldn't really consider that an out route. And Mike said they were really sharp, and he was really impressed with them. So, he said he thought the accuracy was good. He said he saw us connect on some deep balls. So, really excited about them because this offense is really supposed to be explosive. This is supposed to be an explosive offense, a down the field offense, and that's what Geno liked. So with Abe gone, the Seattle's offensive line undergoes significant changes and rotations compared to OTAs. Okay, let's look into this. So, okay, without Lucas able to perform yet, Seattle once again rolled with veteran George Fant in his absence. Okay, but behind Fant, the team slid McClendon Curtis, who spent the entirety of OTAs with the first-team offense at right guard, back out to right tackle where he previously starred at Chattanooga. I like this because McClendon Curtis, I feel like he has some potential to be a serviceable starter at either right guard or right tackle. And he was an undrafted free agent. So if you can get serviceable right guard or right tackle play from an undrafted free agent, that's really all you can ask for. Obviously, you want him to be the best he can be and try to be a Pro Bowler like Doug Baldwin was when he was an undrafted. But obviously, if you can just perform at a league level and do your job as an undrafted free agent, can't really ask for more, to be honest. So I'm really glad that he's getting more and more. He was getting first team reps, and there is a chance that he or Fant will be starting. If Abe is not able to come back week 1, it'll be either him or Fant starting at right tackle week 1. And this actually came after Tremaine Ankrum was cut because we were shaking up the offensive line a little bit. So apparently the second-year blocker could be in the mix at guard again down the road, but his best fit in the present is at tackle. So apparently he's better at tackle right now. So we'll see how he does. And apparently he's been Mike has really given him some kudos. He said kudos to him for the execution he's at. Talking about him being moved around, and he's lauding him and applauding him for, or I should say applauding him, not lauding him, applauding him for adjusting and still executing at a good level. So yeah, that's our situation with our O-line, and I hope our O-line will be a little bit healthier compared to last year, entering this year. All right, differing from his successor, McDonald has an open mind when it comes to traveling cornerbacks. This is a huge deal. I want to probably talk about this for a second. So I might even read this word for word up to a certain point. Over the past 14 years, former coach Pete Carroll enjoyed tremendous success developing cornerbacks from Richard Sherman to Deshaun Shedd to most recently current starter Reek Woolen. And he did so with the philosophy of keeping his boundary corners on the same side rather than moving with top receivers. Last year, Devin Witherspoon was an anomaly in that regard due to his talent playing in the slot. Yeah, Witherspoon annihilated it while he was playing it in the slot. Like, I'm sorry, Kobe Bryant, like, you got outplayed by Witherspoon in the slot. But then again, he is a 5th overall pick, so you expect him to ball out. But still, in a bit of a contrast, at least looking back on his recent stints in Michigan and Baltimore, McDonald expects to mix things up a bit more with how he deploys his cornerbacks in general. Opposing matchups likely will dictate how he handles such strategies on a week-to-week basis. That's smart. But for the time being, as his players continue to learn the intricacies of his defense, the cornerbacks are currently staying on the same side, similar to Carroll. See, that is massive because McDonald wants to transition into his way of how he deals with cornerbacks. But he knows that these guys it's going to take a minute for them to transition from Pete's ideology to his ideology. So I really like that Mike is letting these guys continue to stay on the same side, similar to Carroll, and kind of stick with that and ease into what he wants from them. And that's really cool because if you try to just immediately put them into the role that you want them to, that could cause some issues because they might not adjust the way that you want them to. So definitely like that. Definitely like that we're going to be phasing that in for sure. He said we've done several things. We've matched guys. We've played field and boundary. We've played right and left. I think it depends a lot on who you're playing and their operation. If they're going to be hiding guys and moving a lot and you're matching, that's a lot tougher. If one guy's on one side, it's a little bit easier to match. The skill set of the guys on your team, those are things we will consider as we go. So it basically just sounds like they're doing a lot of different stuff, just trying to shake things around, and they're getting a lot of people to do different things at different positions. So glad to see a lot of people are also flexible as well and moving around. Given Seattle's talent and depth at the cornerback position, McDonald shouldn't have to wait too long to start mixing things up with personnel. Yeah, exactly. Like one day we could have Witherspoon, or even not even one day, like one drive we could have Witherspoon in the slot. The next he could be outside, or not even drive. It could just be play by play. And that's the point, and that is the goal of McDonald's defense: confuse the offense with mismatching and different looks and decoy looks as well. And that's what we like to see. And then rookies Nehemiah Pritchett and DJ James offer some positional flexibility as well to move as well. That's really great to see because if they can play both inside and out, seriously, we can be as flexible as we want with this defense in terms of or at least our cornerback position. Says regardless of how McDonald employs his wealth of riches in the secondary, if Wednesday serves as an indicator, the competition for reps will be a fierce one at cornerback, and I agree. Burns and Pritchett both made excellent pass breakups and coverage in the first practice, while Brown impressively ripped the football away from Metcalf's hands for a forced fumble during a team session, showcasing the fantastic depth of the position. So yeah, we got ballers on that offense, so really glad to see that, or not offense, that defense, especially in that cornerback room, I should say. We got ballers in that cornerback room, and that gives Mike so much flexibility in what he wants to do, and I'm sure he is just drooling at the different schemes that he's going to have with these guys. So really great to see. This is another thing that I'm going to talk about. So Connor Williams, he tore his ACL last year, was a center for the Dolphins, Before then, I believe he played left guard. Yeah, he played left guard for the Lions. Not the Lions, the Cowboys. He played more than 3,300 snaps with them for the first 4 seasons. And then he transitioned to center. And was playing at an all-pro caliber level. Like, he was really, really good before he tore his ACL. Apparently, he had a 98.7 passing block grade per PFF last year. He allowed just 6 pressures and 1 sack in 9 games before he tore his ACL. So I can see why Miami didn't want to re-sign him. I mean, obviously, after you tear your ACL, you're not guaranteed to be the same player that you were as before. But here's the thing. He tore his ACL in December, and he's already physically cleared to perform in practice. It is July. That's unheard of, especially for a big man, I feel like. I feel like big men it might take a little longer for them to recover. Like Monet, he was struggling to recover from his ACL tear. But like I just noticed, it seems like over the years, I feel like 10, 15 years ago, if someone tore the ACL, that was it for them. But now, or like 10 years ago, it would take like a full year and a half, or you could miss 2 seasons just trying to recover from an ACL. But now, it seems like you can come back in just 7 months, which just goes to show how advanced our medical technology is becoming, and really good to see. If we were to sign him, he would definitely, it would definitely potentially cause, I wouldn't say definitely, but it potentially could cause a battle at center between him and Olu, because Evan Brown's no longer on the team. So we're looking to negotiate with him. So there's a chance that we're probably going to sign him by probably tomorrow if we do want to sign him. That's all for that. Moving on to Bob Condotta, I just want to talk a little bit about. First off, I want to just look at this. Turn it down a bit. It's a little loud. This is just, I mean, even though it's not really much, and this is because Condotta said that they were only allowed to release stuff and film and release stuff that they were allowed to film and release. So I guess this is all they were able to do today, and was just some simple O-line drills. And even though it's not really anything, it's just so good to see. Look at all the fans there. It's just so good to see football finally coming back. And man, it's just beautiful. Look at the beautiful day up there, man. It's just finally good to see it back in Seattle, and we're almost there. We are almost there. Also, if you haven't noticed, I was using my personal profile, so I had to make a completely new one for the channel, just to try to separate it and try to make it easier for myself. But I had to put something Seahawks related for my background for my homepage. So I had a GM, Pete Carroll, and Russ. So, but anyway, let's see. Like the first preseason game is around 2 weeks away, maybe a little more than 2 weeks away, and I'm so excited, guys. Like I've never been excited for a preseason game because I'm excited to see how Mike McDonald's defense is going to look. It may not look Obviously, he's probably not going to unleash the things that he's going to unleash in the regular season, but which could affect how the team does. But it's just great it's just going to be great to see football back in action. And the week 1 is September 15th, or September 8th is only a month and a half away. So we're getting there, guys. We are getting there. So, and it's just a lot going on, and in today's video, and just today for the Seahawks in general. And I'm just happy to see that there are a lot of positives, even though we're still struggling with Abe Lucas. We have a couple other injuries that we're dealing with. I'm glad to see that we were able to kick off training camp on a mostly positive note. So, really glad to see. And I'm excited for future training camps and leading up to preseason and the regular season. So, yeah. But I think that's all I have for this video. Actually, no, I don't. I want to talk about this real quick. I still have this playing. I want to talk about Mike and his approach to how he felt about today's practice. First off, he said today it felt like Christmas to him, and he was just all smiles today, before, during, and after the practice. And that reminds me of a coach we kind of just had, Pete Carroll. Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying he's going to be anywhere near like Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is a one-of-a-kind head coach. I'm just saying, like, in terms of potentially being a player coach, he could, like Pete Carroll, who is a player coach, he might be able to, he seems to bring a upbeat tempo and an upbeat expression and personality no matter to the field and to the team, no matter who they are and no matter what day it is, and that's really good to see. And you know, stuff like that, being optimistic, constantly praising your teammates or constantly praising your players, and your team, saying it's like Christmas, can't take the smile off your face. Stuff like that is how you build a locker room, man. How you attract the locker room to you, and I love seeing that. And that's how you get guys that want to play hard for you. Like the guys in Baltimore, they played hard. They wanted to play hard for McDonald because of how good of a coordinator he was, and how smart of a person he was, and just how great of a person he was. So this is great to hear and great to see from our brand new head coach. Just finally getting right to it, straight to it, and starting off with a positive note. Really great to see. Like I said, it would take a tall task for him to even be remotely close to what Pete was for us. But you know, this is a really good start, and I feel like he can make his own take on what it's like to be a player coach. So yeah. But yeah, that is what I have. That is all I have for this video. There was a lot going on, so I was glad to be able to talk about it all. I'm probably gonna make another Mariners video soon. We just got swept for the first time this season by an unlikely team in the Angels. So yeah, that happened. Depressed, very depressed. But honestly, it's the Mariners at this point. So what else can you expect? But yeah, I'll be making a video on them hopefully soon. I don't know when I'll make any more videos on like the Kraken or the Storm in the middle of an All-Star break, which they don't play again until the next month. And the Kraken, they don't play until round when the World Series start. So round when football starts. So just not gonna really. It's really just gonna be Mariners and Seahawks videos that's gonna be uploaded for the time being. If you want me to upload anything else or give me any suggestions on any other teams in Seattle or any teams in any other city, just drop it in the comment section below, and I'll get around to it. But if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day, and go Seattle sports.